What's good, y'all, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about Kaiju number 8, chapter 88, 888. I just noticed that. And really, a lot about Isao as well as a little bit about Hoshina. And while we're at it, do y'all see how clean this lineup is? Quit playing with me. Let's get into it. Now, I'm sure that if you read chapter 88, then Isao had you ready to pump some iron in the beginning of the chapter. We saw Itami pull up on Isao while he was in the gym training overtime late at night, and Itami asked Isao, "Hey dog, what are you in the gym training this late for? You're usually pretty much on a rigid schedule, so it's weird to see you training this late." Right before Isao could even explain himself, we saw Itami go up and say to him, "Hey, you're afraid, aren't you? You're afraid that Narumi's gonna get stronger than you and take over your spot." And it was funny to see Isao look over at Itami and say, "Hey dog, there's such a thing as being too perceptive. Just drop it and let me do my thing." Cause I felt him, bro. If I'm in the gym training late night, you don't gotta ask me why. Just know that I'm grinding. Why aren't you? But then we see Itami give a bucket list of reasons why Narumi honestly probably shouldn't be in the defense force anymore at that point in time. He says that Narumi's had countless tardies and absences, and not only that, but he was kicked out of his platoon 8 times for infractions and insubordinations. He's basically a problem child that was on the verge of being kicked out of the defense force immediately, but just due to the potential that Isao saw inside of Narumi, Isao knew that he could help Narumi hone his skills and become the leader of the first division. And that was something that Isao has wanted for Narumi from the beginning of time. But Isao had to be that wall that was in Narumi's way at all times. He needed to be the person to train Narumi in not only what it was like to win, but what it was like to lose. And that is the reason that Isao got better. It was iron sharpens iron once again. I think that that's a very big running theme in this story. The only reason that Isao had to get as great as Isao got was so that he could help Narumi become as great as Narumi could be, right? And I'm sure that even back then, Isao knew that Narumi could be somebody to protect everybody in the defense force. That's why Isao wanted Narumi to be the person that was like his underling. So it was dope to kind of see Isao in the gym. And honestly, bro, that shot of Isao saying, "I can't put on a shameful display until that idiot becomes a legitimate, like, brolic beast." Bro, Isao with all those veins pumping, doing that chest press. Come on, y'all. Let's drink some more water and start getting in the gym more. We all need to do it. From there, we see the aftermath of Narumi's final attack versus number 11, and it is safe to say that Narumi has fully defeated number 11. And as that happens, Narumi looks up in the sky and says that put a little tear in your eye, talking to Isao. And even as he imagines Isao is just very stoic, smiling, proud of Narumi. But even Narumi imagining Isao says, "Damn, I can't even imagine what you would look like crying." And that just shows how much of a stoic man that Isao was during all times in the defense force. I'm sure that not many people saw much emotion from Isao, other than probably people like Keiji Itami. But overall, this battle really confirmed for us what we already knew about Narumi's relationship with Isao. Though Isao may have never told Narumi that he was proud of him, we know that Isao put the utmost trust in Narumi in taking over the first division, as well as he is more proud of Narumi than probably anybody else in the defense force, seeing as though many of the senior leadership in the defense force wanted Narumi to get kicked out of the defense force, man. So Isao was the one person from the beginning of time that has always vouched for Narumi and has always seen the potential in him. So if Isao was here right now, dog, my boy would not be in combat anymore, and he would be watching from the sidelines proud of this man. Meanwhile, after Narumi finally beat number 11, things shoot over to the Shofu airport where Hoshina is still in a battle with number 12, and things are not looking good at this point. They're both throwing all of these sword techniques at each other, and honestly, 12 is matching Hoshina with some of the sword techniques. We saw them both throw the cross slasher at the same time, yet 12's was stronger than Hoshina's was. At this point, we already know that 12 is the finished product of number 10. 10 was just the prototype, while 12 is the final product that 9 wanted to create. So for that reason, number 12 has Hoshina beat in power, combat ability, and speed. Even Okanogi said that this is the first time she's ever seen a miniature-sized kaiju beating Hoshina. So it's starting to get me nervous a little bit, but at the same time, I don't know how nervous I should get because it just feels like it's following suit to what these last two fights have been, right? We saw with Kikoru that she was down bad at first, came back to win. We saw that Narumi was down bad at first, came back to win. And we can definitely say that Hoshina was down bad at the end of this chapter when number 12 threw an attack that broke Hoshina's swords, dog. That had my heart beating a little bit because y'all already know that Hoshina is my favorite character in the series. But to be honest though, one thing that I would say is that I hope that Hoshina's fight ends up being slightly different than what Kikoru and Narumi's fights ended up being. We saw that both of them had a flashback / communication of some sort with the daikaiju, and then they ended up winning this fight. I honestly don't want the same thing for Hoshina. It would be cooler to see somebody come in and save Hoshina, or I can't have Hoshina going away from the series, bro. I can't have Hoshina dying, but my man has had some like red flags that have been popping up throughout the series. That's something that I am willing to admit, but I just can't see Hoshina going away yet, bro. I don't think that Hoshina is going to die from this fight, but at the same time, like I said, I don't want it to follow the same suit of Hoshina has a flashback or has some conversation with Kaiju number 10, and then all of a sudden they power up and just beat number 12 easily. Maybe even Hoshina is going to assimilate some new kind of power, the same exact way that Narumi kind of assimilated with that number 1 suit and advanced it, evolved it, got more powers from it. Maybe Hoshina can evolve his suit in some way, especially since him and the number 10 suit can personally talk. One thing that's interesting is the number 10 suit loves fights, right? The thrill of a fight is what number 10 loves the most. So whenever number 10 finally sees how bad of a situation this is for Hoshina, how dire of a situation this is going to have number 10 more amped than ever to fight. And I can only imagine that Hoshina might end up being the same way. So what if this camaraderie and that want to fight actually is what causes Hoshina's evolution, right? Me and Darzas were even talking, and we said, what if the number 10 suit even ended up becoming like a blade itself, right? The same way that like Daz Bones in One Piece can turn his whole body into a sword. What if Hoshina's whole 10 suit could just be used as a sword in some way? The same way that number 12 is using its like arms as swords right now, even though it doesn't have to be swords all the time. So I don't know, just some thoughts. At the end of the day, I hope that Hoshina makes it out of this fight okay. And honestly, like I said, I hope that this fight goes a little bit different than the last 2 fights did, so that it's not just rinse and repeat for 3 fights straight. But we'll see. Regardless, the art was crazy, bro. You're not getting art like this from almost any other series that you're reading. Come on now. So at the end of the day, you already know what it is. Arigato mas if you watched this video and enjoyed it. I'm sorry that this chapter review is a little bit shorter than normal, but honestly, this chapter was just pretty much shorter than normal. I'm sure that all of y'all got through the chapter just as quick as I did. But I just dropped the war video a couple of weeks ago. Go watch that. That video goes crazy, bro. It's a 32-minute video that just talks about everything that's happened so far in the war. So if you do want to watch it, I'll put it in the description. And other than that, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.